We're going to be talking about rent hike and how it's affecting you as a Nigerian. Whether you're a tenant or a landlord, please get your phones close because we would love to get your input in this conversation this morning. Now, the recent surge in rent prices has left many Nigerians actually really struggling to get a roof over their heads. And according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, the average cost of rent in Nigeria has increased by over 30% in the past year alone. In cities like Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt, the situation is even more dire, with prices in rent skyrocketing by as much as 50% in some areas. The statistics are alarming, and the recent survey by the Nigerian Real Estate Hub found that over 70% of Nigerians spend more than 30% of their incomes on rent, far exceeding the 27 to 20% recommended threshold. And this has led to a situation where many Nigerians are forced to sacrifice other essential expenses such as food, healthcare, and education just to keep a roof over their heads. But it's not just the numbers that tell the stories. We've also received countless messages. We all have personal experiences of how rent hikes have made us forgo certain benefits or certain things that we were able to afford before, just because you're trying to save up to meet up to your rent. From families who have been forced to relocate to smaller houses and more affordable accommodations, to young professionals and newly married who are finding it difficult to afford the house or home of their dream due to the rise in prices of rent, leaves a lot of people heartbroken. That is why on the show this morning we want to hear from you. What is your experience when it comes to the cost of rent in Nigeria, in your location, wherever it is you are? How much was it, how much do you used to pay, and how much are you paying at the moment if you are a tenant? Do you think the government is doing enough? Do you think the government can even regulate this? I mean, it's my property, I built it, so why would the government tell me how much to put on rent? But then again, we'd love to hear your thoughts. And also to the landlords, there's a hike in rent. You are increasing the rent. Are you using fuel to build the house? But then again, we understand that the economy is biting hard, and if that's your source of income, is really understandable. But we also want to hear from the landlords, and also to real estate agents and all these agents who go around to look for houses and include their own percentage to it. We want to understand what is the math in all of the equation. The phone lines are open. The questions are on your screen. We want to hear your experience. Join the conversation. Do well to call us and let us hear your thoughts. Both the landlords, the tenants, and the agents. We want to hear all the angles to the conversation this morning.
In fairness, I've heard quite a number of positions from house owners who say when you need to maintain anything that goes bad, and there are quite a number of maintenance to be done in houses, you just find out that whatever it is you get from rent just cannot fix these houses, cannot continue to keep them. And remember, you have to also pay ground rent on these houses and all of. So there are all kinds of arguments from every side of the divide. I understand we have our first caller. Good morning, your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Do Good. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Mr. Do Good from Port Harcourt. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to all of you there.
Happy New Year to you.
Let me start by asking, are you a landlord or a tenant?
True.
Prospective landlord. I would like to be one.
Fantastic. All right, please let us hear your perspective on this issue.
Yes, let's start from government. We have about 3 sections now. Government 1, expensive materials 2,
okay,
land purchasing 3, and the main workers to build the house 4. So if you check everything I mentioned now, you can see the cost for the increase. It's not intentionally anywhere, but you can see now if government can bring prices of things down by any standard they decide better for them, so that things will be cheap. How much do you buy a bag of cement? Rod is nowhere to touch now. You can't near rod. People being upstairs now is the only politicians and the tycoons, yes, or 419ers or the 4 stars there. So eventually, how do we cope this? This is now. Cement is very expensive. Materials is very expensive. So if one gather everything now and put on a structure now, and they say he lives out in 2 kobo or 2 kobo, 3 kobo, it's not possible. It's not possible. I know the house rent.
Mr. Dugu, Mr. Dugu, if I may ask you this question. There are also the arguments that most of these houses that are charging expensive were not built today or yesterday when prices went. These are houses that have been there over 10, 15, 20 years. So what is the justification for those other people too, who built houses when cement prices were 1,005, 1,002? What's the justification for those kind of people charging the kind of sum, the kind of amount that we see today?
You are 100% correct. You are right. Let me tell you now, it seems like you take what you have to get what you want. If you don't do it, you can't go to market and buy anything for yourself or your family. You have to increase to meet all the demands in the market, or you cannot get anything. I don't know if you get my point. So everything is on top. So if you don't increase your house rent to meet up the demands, you are nowhere. Yes, you are just zero pack. But let me continue where I'm going to. So eventually, government has a own part to play to bring the materials down, and also to buy land before easy before to get. Yes, but you can buy land easily now. You don't have a good capital, you can buy land to put the structure. Even that's another thing. So eventually, I think the point of it is government to make things work out well in a country. Otherwise, rent will keep on going high, because whether you build it now or build it 10 years ago, you must get what you want for what you have. Otherwise, it's nowhere. I'm sorry, it does not. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Goodyear. No, I like what he said, trying to use it to sustain a living. But like you said, it still doesn't justify. But you also made mention of cost of maintaining these properties. And tenants have a certain attitude, like a lackadaisical attitude, I dare to say, some tenants, not all, towards people's properties. You misuse it so badly that the repairs that will be put into it would be almost the amount of the next rent coming in. So it's quite alarming if you can't maintain these properties, and then the next person coming in has to bear the brunt because he was, see, the house is in a terrible state, that's why I'm increasing your rent so I could fix the place for you to be comfortable in, or you live in there like that. So the attitude of tenants towards government owned properties is one thing, and it's only normal for him to want to fix it to your taste. So all of this put together, but does it really explain the increased rent? Well, let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning. Ismail calling from Niger.
Good morning, Ismail. Are you a landlord or tenant?
I thank God I'm a landlord.
Okay.
Fantastic news.
I'm not a tenant. I have my personal apartment I'm staying.
That's good to know.
So, you see, regarding this money topic at least, this issue, like the first caller said, is that I think he categorized it into 3 places. 1, the government has to blame. 2, the landlord themselves. And the most worst of it is the so-called middlemen. The so-called
the ones that are called agents.
Agents,
thank you. They are the most worst of all. Let me start from the government. As he said, if government subsidies, okay, like when I was building my house, I'm doing that by cement, 1,000 to 1,003. When I was that is when I was building my apartment. Just recently, I was to do 1 or 2 renovations. I have to buy cement at the rate of 8,500 naira. So imagine just within less than a decade. Look at how it skyrocketed. So if government can work towards that to make sure that most of these building materials are down, then definitely, at least the cost of renting being hacked, at least that will be reduced.
Do you just so that I don't break your thoughts, but I just wanted to put in this question. With the way Nigerians behave, do you think if building materials and the rest of them reduce in price today, that a landlord that has tested 1.5 to 2 billion naira in rent will be willing to come down to 700,000-800,000?
It won't be that easy, surely. It won't be that easy. And most of the I'm just trying to itemize it. One of the okay, we have a what do you call it? In Kogi here that will produce all this steel.
Yeah.
They are not functioning. I think around 2002 or whatever, I was able to go to excursion in Delta State. This is the Anaja Steel Industry.
Yes.
So this is a very big company. What they are able to produce alone is just a billet. That's the first product from iron ore, which is billet.
Yes.
That is the only thing that company is being able to produce, as big as that company is. And that company, if I may say, is not even up to 1/3 of what we have in Ajakuta. So why are we playing politics with all these things? If all these things are functional, at the cost of building all these things now, how much when I was building, how much did I even buy a rod? Less than 700, but now it's sold almost 7,000 naira.
For the smallest ones.
Yeah, the smallest one, which is 12 mm, is sold almost 7,800, depending on your location. So the person who is going to build house now, definitely you don't expect him to give out his house at that lower rate.
But do you if you look at what's happening in our society, we are now beginning to see more and more increase in the level of default. People stay somewhere, use 2 years to raise the rent, come into your property, and then it becomes a fight to get them to renew. Would you rather not we peg prices at something that is easy for both? After all, we all go to the same market and we are all enduring the same economy. What would you rather suggest in that circumstance? Well, it does appear we lost him. We hope a landlord is able to explain some of this perspective, but we really would like to hear from tenants because they bear all the brunt. It's almost as if some kind of death sentence is pronounced against you in Nigeria if you are a tenant, because everything is basically sort of cast against you. The landlord goes somewhere, feels the pressure, he raises your rent. The transporters feel some pressure, they raise the transport fare. The marketers feel pressure, they raise price of onions. And you are just at the receiving end.
And even when you look like you're enjoying a bit, the landlord says like you have money.
Yeah,
you will still raise the rent.
All right. Good morning. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Engineer Labaran. I'm calling from Adama.
Good morning, Engineer Labaran. Thank you for joining us. So are you a landlord, an agent, or a tenant?
I'm a landlord in my local government and I'm a tenant in Yola.
Interesting combination.
So you can share both experiences. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, my thought about this thing is being an engineer by profession, I see it as some people, most of the people that venture into being tenants, that is for commercial purpose, not for their personal use. They don't look at that investment as a long-term investment. Because some people, immediately they build a house, they want to recoup their money in 5 years' time. So that is it. I'm thinking that if somebody have money that he want to invest, it's like storing grains. If you are storing grain, you will not call yourself like a businessman that used to buy and sell immediately and get money in your pocket. You have to wait until when the grain price have risen up. That business is only once in a year. Then until the next year that the grain have subsided, then you still buy it and store it and sell it. It's different from somebody that is out to go to the market, buy this one, whether you put it in your shop, you sell it the next day, you go to market again. So in terms of being a landlord, if you have money, you build a house, maybe it is your grandchildren or your children or your great-grandchildren that will even recoup the money at the end of the day. You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
So forget about the prices of the material. You cannot use that one. And if government wants to come in, it's not the issue of the price of the material. The government should be built so that even civil servants or the politicians can get where to, like in Gombe and some other states. But in Adamawa, you are talking of Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. In Adamawa also the rent is the rent price have skyrocketed. Some places you find 2-bedroom apartment 1.2 million naira in Adamawa State, which is a civil servant state.
Wow.
You understand? Because during the first political era, that is 1999, the governor Boniaruna made the houses to be owner occupiers. So if you are in the house, they will be removing some money out of their salary. That is, if you wish, then the house becomes your own. Now that we are talking, most of the civil servants that are in those houses have retired, and the house is at the center of the city, where it's closest to the office. So now they retired, and what brought them from their village is the civil service work. They have retired, they refuse to go, they're there in their houses, and it is hard for you to get a house to rent. You understand? So the civil servants now are staying at the outskirts of the town before they will come in. Any house that you get inside the town, you cannot afford it. How much is your salary? You understand? So the government did not build another estate for civil servants. There is no availability. They will just politicize it. Say there is this estate, that estate, and at the end of the day, you find out that the estate is not there. They have already distributed it to their family and friends.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking at is that the government cannot come in and tell the landlord that they should subsidize this thing. What they should do is just to build quarters for.
Thank you very much, engineer, for this wonderful perspective, if you like. And the picture he has painted about Adamawa State is true for several other states in Nigeria. You'll be shocked at what rent prices are in places like Kwara, in Benin, in Cross River.
I can speak for Cross River. Well, I think that was depending on the area you're staying, but I know that the rent prices is a civil servant state. But compared to what you have here in Abuja, you would say is relatively affordable.
Yeah.
3 years ago, I knew someone who was able to get a 2-bedroom apartment at 350,000 naira in the outskirts. And I felt like it was fair because I know what it is like here in Abuja or Lagos or Port Harcourt. But let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning. My name is Shetima Yakudima, calling from Maiduguri.
Shetima, thank you for joining us. Want to believe you're a landlord, right?
Well, I am not a landlord, neither a tenant. God butter my bread. I'm occupying a 3-bedroom flat owned by my, by my elder brother.
Okay.
So I'm staying free.
You are lucky.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
I'm lucky, honestly, Mr. Sunday.
Go ahead, please.
But the truth of the matter is, Mr. Sunday, there is a wickedness in this matter. Because I was staying in GRA here in Maiduguri. Most of the houses was owned by exercise that called the owner occupier. And we know how much they sell these houses. A 3-bedroom house with a boys' quarters is around 900 and something thousand naira. It's not up to 1 million.
That's right. But
today, a rent of a boys' quarters, they are collecting more than 50,000 naira, somewhere 70,000 naira. You see, these houses, they are built a long time ago. And you just get them by platter of gold, by chance. And you are not being good to the people. You are trying to exploit people. Some of the houses, the owners of the house, they park because the land become very expensive. So they park, they rent another house somewhere. They put on tenants and they are collecting money. And you can imagine a house that you bought at less than 1 million. Today you are collecting rent almost 700,000, 600,000. You can imagine. So these wicked hearts, we have to be nice to our fellow brothers. You see, because somebody, God created him to become tenant, you want to kill him. Before his time. You deny him food. You want to collect all his labor. or rent is not paid. So I appreciate one landlord that I know here in Maiduguri. When he buy a house, he will demolish the house and build it to a modern design, and he will reduce the rent. And he will take the name of the occupants who are renting, and he will give them the house back. And believe me, Mr. John, he will, Mr. Sunday. Believe me, if you are paying 30,000 naira, for example, that landlord will reduce it to 20,000 or 15,000 naira. This is the landlord that we are looking for. This is the landlord that they will see the light of the day, and they will have peace in their grave. But you have been exploiting people because God water your bread. God give you. It's not your labor. It's not your planning. But it was God that made you to be landlord, and it was a desire of God that made your fellow brother to be your tenant. But we are calling for our brothers. Let us be a brother keepers. Let us be good to people. That's my takes.
Thank you very much,
Shatima.
Shatima, for those invaluable contributions. I can't agree less with your charge to Nigerians to be our brothers keepers, to approach this whole mantra of increase with a human heart. The man at the other side of the divide also needs to be alive to be able to raise your rent. But there's a critical part of this conversation that we seem not to have scratched off, which is the role of government in bringing down prices. Not exactly in fixing prices, but if we had sustained the development of new estates, perhaps if you put your house at 1 million and somebody can get a good government apartment at 500, why would he come and take yours? So the prices could become competitive because you are not the only game in town. We have also seen complete failure of mortgage institutions.
True.
You can't walk into those places to get long-term mortgages to develop something that you pay over 10, 15, 20 years period. And hence, we are where we are. Good morning. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Timmy. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
I didn't get your name.
Timmy. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Timmy Priye, Timmy. All right.
Yeah, Timmy.
All right. Good morning. Happy New Year, and let's get your contribution.
We should be saying. The issue is, I just want to talk on only one area.
Okay.
Which is the what's they call them? These people that look out for people. What's their name? Agents. Thank you. They are the whole problem I'm seeing. Or I mean tenants, you understand? But sometimes we have good landlords with good ads, very nice. They will reduce their house prices, but the agents will go ahead and confuse them that, look, you want to give out this house at the rate of 100,000? No. This house is more than that. So I will help you. I will help you even 200, you will rent it. So that's how they do. So I think they are the only problems. No, there may be other problems, but my own view is they are the problem.
Thank you very much, Timmy. A very important observation there. I've heard several people say it. Sometimes, a matter of fact, I'm privy to a recent case where the house owner is even relocating abroad. And you know what he did? Went past all the agents, met with the tenant and said, see, I don't even know why these people convinced me to ask that you pay 1.5. What I told them was that 1 million was okay. I'm going to be out of this country for the foreseeable future. Please take care of my house. Make sure everything is in good order. Treat it like your own, and I will reverse to 1 million naira. Let it be something you can afford, but just make sure my property is in good condition. So there are landlords like that, and you really, this whole thing about agents coming in to make life worse for people is something that we have to find a very ingenious way, of taking care of. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Abasekong calling from Gombe State.
Mr. Ekong, it's good to hear your voice in this brand new year.
My take is Just a very simple one. The last caller actually took my mind, and sincerely speaking, rent hike is something the federal government and the state government needs to double into. Because with the fuel hike and several other things hike, then where will somebody put his head? Personally, myself, I don't have problem. Where I am in Gombe is my property. But I do have a house where I'm paying rent in Port Harcourt. And I'm a landlord in Lagos.
Okay.
But suffice to say that, what of those who cannot afford? Will they be living under the bridge? That is why we're having a lot of people under the bridge.
True.
That's why we have a lot of people who are women, that they are just like lunatic. So, this is just what I want to summarize. I want to put it on record that Nigeria is a great country, a beacon of hope for the less privileged. The less privileged being looked into. The pregnant women, are they being catered for? The widows, are they being looked after? Like the retirees, which I happen to fall into, the group I fall into. The government should do something. Because a retiree who has retired, how can he afford to pay rent? This is an angle, sincerely speaking, they need to look into. This is a topic that, sincerely speaking, all the topic Trust TV has been putting on board has been a mind-blowing topic.
Thank you very much.
The searchlight should be beamed on ensuring that, one, this country has light. Ensuring that the security is being taken care of. Look at Delta State. The landlords, they came together and said, no, we must reduce the prices, hike prices, rent prices. They reduced it. Why can't other states take clue?
Did you say Delta State?
Yeah.
Okay.
Delta State.
All right.
Delta State. You see, we must ensure that we do the right thing at the proper time. The phenomenon that is threatening us now, food, light, water, health, now house again. They should help us.
Thank you very much.
Sir?
All right.
Go ahead and make your thought.
There's something I want to add again. There is something we are not doing right. When you get to Ghana, you see they plant 52 million trees in 4 years. Why can't we do same by planting more on our roads, hospitals, houses? Like where I'm living in Gombe now, I surrounded the places with trees. Once you have trees around you, you will find out that most of this, what do they call it? The environment will be protected.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ekong, for chipping in with the last one. I'm sure we would find time in this show or on this show to look at how each of us, can play a role in bringing down carbon emission and enhancing cleaner airs in our environment. But that will be a topic for another day. But again, thank you for your pledge and for drawing our attention to what's happening in Delta. I know in Lagos, several governors from the days of Fashola till the current governor have made all kinds of effort to keep rents at affordable levels. They've even gone ahead to say the whole idea of paying 1 year rent is not something they would tolerate.
In line with that, quickly before we go, because I guess we're out of time, but I just got a WhatsApp message from someone in Delta State. His name is Robert Ishoku from Ogeli. He sent a pictorial notification, a screenshot of an increment of his rent from 15,000 naira monthly to 25,000 naira monthly starting from 1st January 2025. And he says that this house is a room and parlor built about 15 years ago. And I've been living here since 2015. In 2015, the rent was 8,000 naira monthly. 2020, it was increased to 10,000 naira, and again, 15,000 naira in December 2023, and now it's been raised to 25,000 naira monthly in 2025. This is from Delta State. So
conflicting information, if you like, but so there's so much that needs to be done. The mortgage finance, they need to step up. The government on its part needs to play critical role in bringing down housing deficit in Nigeria we have a lot to learn from several advanced countries on how they've managed to keep prices low. We need to develop new cities, you know, that can help to, and build infrastructures that can help to keep prices down. And all of this, the government has to take a lead. And that's the much that time would allow us, you know, take on this segment of the program. We'll